How's it going, everyone? Wanna go over seemingly a pretty interesting sequel being revealed via some trademarks. We'll talk all about that. Got a brief update on The Last of Us's multiplayer component. We'll give you an update on that. A brand new Japanese-inspired cyberpunk stealth side-scrolling title will be coming next year, and the upcoming RPG in Atlas Fallen has seen a slight delay. We'll talk that at the end of this video. But first of all, developer Gunfire Games has filed trademarks for both Remnant from the Ashes 2 and Remnant 2. So I imagine they filed trademarks for both because they're undecided on what they're gonna title the game at this point. Remnant from the Ashes was a low-key banger, and I don't even have to say low-key. I don't think, like, while we were heading into the release of the game, I don't think it had an immense amount of anticipation and hype. But I think subsequently following its release, it was received really, really well. It's this cooperative action shooter with some Souls-like elements. It was a pretty unique game, and a lot of you guys probably have it in your library based on the fact that it was a PlayStation Plus title. But by all accounts, based on the fact that this wasn't like a large-scale release or anything like that, the game seemingly did pretty well, and hell, it did well enough for it to justify what looks to be a sequel. Super innovative game, and a game that I definitely would recommend you to check out. And again, a lot of you guys probably have it in your library. It was also a game that they kept updated for quite a while. There is some additional content and whatnot that you can buy. But the game itself, in its own right and its own merit, has quite a bit of longevity to it as well. So check it out. If you don't own it, I wouldn't buy it at full price, but it goes on sale all the time, probably for around 15 to 20 bucks, and at that price point, I would say, you know, give it a look, check it out, see how you like it. If you're into Souls-likes, if you're into action-heavy shooters, cooperative games, one that I would recommend you to check out. So hopefully a sequel for that does come to fruition. And what was great about the first one was it wasn't even a budget release. It was at $39.99, I believe, was the initial price point. So yeah, that was pretty cool as well. You don't see that a lot these days. You see more games going with the $70 route rather than, you know, actually being discounted. And I felt that game had some staying power as well, and it was a relatively big budget title in terms of its scale and the appearance of the game and visually. I thought it was a good looking game. I thought it was a game that you could sink quite a bit of time into. And again, hopefully a sequel does come to fruition. Alright, moving on from that, The Last of Us multiplayer component will be set in a very dense city, according to a former Naughty Dog employee. This is coming from a LinkedIn page. The environment designer notes, worked on an unannounced title and was on loan from Ben's studio, worked on multiplayer title in a very dense city with lots of detail, layout, population, micro polish, modeling, texture, and some other stuff as far as the expertise goes. The Last of Us multiplayer is something that a lot of people want to hear more about. I mean, that was one element that really stung about The Last of Us Part 1 being $70. You're getting this upgraded campaign of The Last of Us. Sure, you get Left Behind as well, but you're stripping away a major reason why The Last of Us was initially $60 in the sense that you had that factions multiplayer mode as well. And everybody talks up Last of Us based on the fact that its single-player component was so good, and the original Last of Us' single-player component was really good. However, a lot of you guys may have been sleeping on Factions. I don't know if you didn't play it back when it initially came out or whatever the case may be, but Factions was a solid multiplayer experience, and I wouldn't say, like, that was the reason I picked up Last of Us. Like, I had known about Factions when I picked that game up. I got it day one back in 2013 when it came out, and obviously I played through the entirety of the single-player component before I even jumped into multiplayer. But I'm not gonna say I sunk hundreds and hundreds of hours into Factions, but Factions during that summer, I played quite a bit of it, and I had a good time with it, and them doing a standalone multiplayer experience is gonna be interesting. I am curious on how they're gonna roll this out. Like, what is the price point gonna be? Is it gonna be a free-to-play title? Highly doubt that. But you can't charge $70. Like, imagine if they just started charging $60, $70 for each component of Last of Us. Oh, Part 2 is $60, Part 1 is $70, and then multiplayer is $60, $70 as well. You know, pricing it out all that way. Doubt that's going to be the case, but it will be interesting how they take into account that, you know, if there is some monetization going on. Well, that all remains to be seen. I would imagine we're going to hear about this relatively soon in terms of getting an in-depth look on The Last of Us multiplayer, because we had known it was in development for quite a while. It's just they've been keeping it under the radar for a while, and I think it's going to be a case of it's going to get announced, and then a release is going to quickly follow right thereafter. Maybe you'll have some sort of beta period or whatnot, but yeah, interested to hear where that goes. Alright, moving on from that, the Japanese-inspired cyberpunk stealth side-scroller in Shinobi Rising has been announced for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, Nintendo Switch, and PC. Now, at this point, we only know, we only have a cinematic image, a artwork, whatever you want to call it. We don't have gameplay yet, but we do have a description which notes, "Welcome to Shinobi Rising, the exciting new game set in the Japanese-inspired cyberpunk universe of Katana Ra. In this thrilling adventure, you play as a shinobi who must solve a murder mystery and discover the culprit behind the death of an innocent child heiress. As you navigate your way through the streets Clan Kata's village, the entire game takes place across one single night, and you'll need to use all of your cunning and skill to survive, uncover clues, and solve puzzles and inch closer to uncovering the truth behind the killing. But be warned, this is a village where not everyone is what they seem. Who will you strike from the shadows?" There is going to be some early access previews. They have a Discord page live right now, but trailers and store pages are noted to officially start rolling out in late October, and gameplay trailers will follow thereafter as you lead into the release. Game's not that far away, February 14th of 2023. Just wanted to give you guys a heads up on that. Again, we don't know much about it, but from a description standpoint, sounds pretty interesting to me. Lastly, I do want to note, Atlas Fallen from Deck 13 and Focus Entertainment has had its release window slightly adjusted. The game was initially scheduled for a Q1 2023 release, which would have spanned January until the end of March. It has now been adjusted for spring of 2023, which will go from the end of March until the end of June, so this will probably come a little bit later than initially expected. It was noted by Focus Entertainment the group also plans to launch Atlas Fallen, a game developed by Deck 13 Interactive, one of the group's studios, in the spring of 2023 to give the teams at Deck 13 Interactive time to maximize the potential of this new franchise. Announced at Gamescom at the end of August during the opening night live conference, it has already received an extremely positive reception from the press and gamers around the world. So the game itself, I think, looks quite good, a next-generation title that visually looks to be a top-tier title, and as far as those of you that like action RPGs, I think this is one that's going to be right up your alley. The game notes, "Rise from the dust and glide the sands of a timeless land filled with ancient dangers, mysteries, and fragments of the past. Hunt legendary monsters with powerful sand-infused weapons and abilities and spectacular super-powered combat. Master the sands to explore a unique fantasy world. Hunt legendary creatures alone or with a friend in heroic superpower combat. Unleash your power to create deadly shape-shifting weapons. Rise as the ultimate champion with unique custom skills and abilities." Again, expect to play that sometime in the spring of 2023. And that is going to do it for me. Again, it looks like Remnant from the Ashes is going to be getting a sequel based on trademark filings. I would be pretty sure that that will be coming to fruition, especially given the success of the first game. Last of Us's multiplayer will be set in a very dense city, as noted on a LinkedIn page. Japanese-inspired cyberpunk stealth game Shinobi Rising will be coming in 2023. Atlas Fallen has seen a slight adjustment in its release window to spring of 2023. That's going to do it for me. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.